Damn, bro. Oh. $27 Gambit. Ah, it's gonna be canceled this week. Okay, let me start planning this out. Okay. Damn. Okay, I need to start haste stacking this week. So that's coming out. What else can I do? That one's fine. Anything wrong there? My offhand? I want to get to like 30. Let's see what this does. That's like 30. Just verse drops, pretty heavy. Not the worst. I think this might be the combo for the week. Haste. This is a headache. I think that should be fine. Okay. I could, in theory, do that. But that would have to go to my hands, right? That's not good. Because my hands, I mean, it would just give me more haste, less verse. I gotta train myself up to be the godlike Gambito. My love of my life. The 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 love of my life. Dude, why is it? Oh, that's why. Hmm. Oh, but everything's moving. Uh, 27. All these things will be like one-shotting me. Dude, this is like complete actual AIDS. Oh no. Dude, these things are all skyrocketing. Dude, what the fuck? I can't even see him. I don't even see if there's another one. I'm sure we have like an actual fuck ton. Dude, come on. This is actually gonna be the most AIDS fucking dungeon in the world this week. Why? I mean, maybe my hope is like do a 27 junkyard and hope. I don't even know if junkyard will be easier. The amount of explosives this week. We're not. Damn, bro. These guys need to fucking interrupt that one thing, dude. All of them have their interrupts up. I want to move this up a little bit. No, I don't know where I want that. I might move it to the side more. We're doing this one. Oh, this is gonna be a Zolg week, a really shitty Zolg week. Yeah, I don't know how you counterplay this. Like, we know Giants are gonna be off the table. Haste was the right choice. Jesus, just Gambit alone. Wow. Do we need this? We need above 50 apparently. Hmm. You gotta be fucking with me the second I do that. Uh, I need to figure out. That seems like, I mean, I think my tank should be doing more. Just, but he's like, obviously he's trying to pump, but Warlock was doing, I think, plenty there, but. Of course. Did we really lost it on the spot? That was a jazz. Oh yeah. Okay. At least I know. At least I know what trinkets and combinations I can do when I feel a little bit hectic. Okay. This is where I might. Oh shit. Um, I don't know if I liked that. Destiny's Live? Easy day, easy bands. Be careful. It's funny. Man. I have to consider. I mean, like Soleils would be a good I mean, I could do Soleil. Soleil isn't bad. Hmm. Oh, look, it's Sky Tide. Like 200 there. And like 150 within the Murloc area. There's like 150, 160 of them. That's just such an abhorrent level. I think if I'm in queue with the tank, I think in reality it should be a little bit easier. But I don't know. Hmm. I like it, but at the same time I don't. I like it because Gambit's like a super simple one. But the fucking early half is literally cancer. The front half is that and the deckhands right before the second boss. That's actually like the most cancer. That might be better. This is gonna be what I should do, in theory. What I should do is
headache or combined with a fever as well. Like once a year, I wake up and I feel sick and I have a headache, and then it goes away after like 3 or 4 hours. I don't know why. It just happens like one time a year. It's just fucking annoying. I don't know what it is or why. What is this? This is why I main Shadebinder. God, Shadebinder is so cool. This is why I want to main Shadebinder. so cool.
Opposing team eliminated. You're a force of nature, Guardian.
I don't know how aggressive I want to be with this guy. Fuck it. Caffeine withdrawals? I don't think I have caffeine withdrawals. I never get them. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, what's up?
How are you, Steven?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good. Thanks for reaching out. Good to be on here.
Yeah, good to have you. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So I'm. My name is Holden. I'm 21 years old, and I'm kind of a volunteer with the Forward Party. I've been doing some stuff with them. I'm in college. I'm a sophomore at Southern in Connecticut, and I'm a bartender as well. So I'm doing a bunch of stuff and volunteering for the Forward Party in my free time.
Gotcha. Well, how's life like? What are we talking about today?
Life's been good, man. How about you? You have a headache today?
Yeah, it's like a once a year headache. Probably because I know I was gonna be talking to a Yanks. No, I'm just fucking with you. So here's my question. I guess I can ask some questions. I'm kind of curious. I see this is the big problem that I've seen, and maybe you have better answers. Is I think I've seen 2 interviews now where people try to get Yang to kind of like state a position on something, and he seems a little bit reticent to do so. Do you know why, or what is the? I imagine like what kind of questions you get normally. Yeah, we'll start there.
Yeah. So I definitely got that question on an interview I did before too. So I think the big reason that he doesn't want to take stances for the Forward Party is that the Forward Party kind of sees the problem in America as a problem of choice, and the fact that whatever your ideology is, whether you're kind of libertarian or progressive, wherever you fall, the government is not addressing your problems. And so the issue isn't a left or right issue, it's an issue of representation and just the government is not representing the people right now. And so the problem is, as the Forward Party is putting it, is that we need to reform our voting system so that it's actually possible to get people in government who are interested in solving these problems rather than just people who are elected in closed party primaries and are really only there to serve their party rather than their country. So the issue is, saying we can deal with all these issues only after our government is once again representative of the people.
Gotcha. That was a lot of stuff. what's like an issue that you feel like isn't represented well, I guess, for the American people?
I think one of the a couple of the things that I think about are the war on terror and the war on drugs. These are 2 things in my mind, at least, that have been going on for far too long, and the American people have been pretty firmly opposed to these wars. The war on drugs and the war on terror is what I'm specifically focusing on now. Those are examples of things that the American people have been pretty united in opposing for a long time, but our government is not acting. You see a lot of these issues where it's kind of like we've been talking about them for years and years and years, but nothing has changed.
Gotcha. So trying to think of how I just woke up. I'm a little grumpy. Trying not to go ultra debate mode.
No problem. We can slow down a bit, whatever.
Well, you don't have to slow down. I'm just trying to figure out how mean I want to be. No, I'm just kidding. So here's like an issue, okay? Why
Okay.
I feel like the U.S. government is pretty responsive to what people are talking about. You bring up the war on drugs as an example issue. or not, I'm sorry, not the war on drugs, but the war on terror. I feel like the United States was pretty responsive to like foreign intervention, that Iraq was super unpopular. Obama kind of ran on this anti-war thing. We haven't started any new wars. Biden pulled us out of wars. We've opted for drones instead of troops on the ground. What more like could the U.S. I guess have done realistically in relation to like the war on terror? I'm curious.
I think, first of all, in a lot of these wars, they're still going on. We're still involved in Syria and Yemen. We kind of expanded the war on terror beyond Afghanistan to so many different places that it seems very difficult to kind of rein it all in. And so, for example, with Iraq, Obama campaigned on taking us out of there, and he did, and then sent us back in 2014. And so,
We've
we've had
back into Iraq was a mistake.
I think it was a mistake. I think we need to have a much clearer focus on domestic issues, and I think putting too much time and energy into the war on terror in these instances where, our goal is to prevent terrorist attacks from, having terrorist groups from having the capacity to attack U.S. soil.
Don't you think? Because I'm kind of curious. So the going back into Iraq, it's brought up. Do you think that if ISIS would have continued to gain a stronger foothold over there, is that not like a concern ever for eventually the security in the United States?
I think it is a concern. That's something you have to be watching.
But like, let's say, what if we don't go into Iraq again, and then ISIS in Iraq becomes like what the Taliban is in Afghanistan, where it just kind of like becomes the de facto government, and now they're just kind of like the power there, and then you can't really get rid of them because now you'd have to go to war with an actual state and depose an actual government.
Well, I think that's the issue we found with Afghanistan, is that, we went in, we overthrew the Taliban, and then by the time we left, the Taliban had taken over again. And so I think it's kind of a matter of, we tried, if you just take Afghanistan, that war in itself, we tried going in and invading and trying to keep the Taliban, under control, but we found out that wasn't possible. That wasn't it could have been possible. Maybe there's an argument that we executed the war wrongly, and it could have been done better. But I would say that going in and invading these countries is not necessarily a surefire way to stop the problem, as we saw that the Taliban is now in control in Afghanistan, and we have left it aside.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely parts of that I can agree with, but I mean,
yeah,
the Taliban is not a threat to the U.S. government anymore. At the very least, it seems like part of everything that's gone on is ensuring that they aren't going to, I mean, maybe in the future they will mess with the United States, but I mean, hopefully they see it's in their best interest not to. And then hopefully we've secured that agreement. I think it was the Doha talks, I think, that happened under Trump, to push them towards like, hey, just don't fuck with us and we won't come back, basically. I do agree that Afghanistan seemed to be poorly done from the United States side. I don't think anybody would disagree with you there. But I guess some worry that I have is that if you have a failure or two or three, people will think that all other foreign policy like interventions need to be stopped because they could all be failures. But when I compare like the expulsion of the Taliban from Afghanistan to the destruction of ISIS in Iraq, I feel like those two missions went quite differently. I feel like we got rid of ISIS pretty well. ISIS seemed to be a pretty spooky bunch of dudes. Like, they were trying to orchestrate terror attacks all across Europe, in the United States, like doing basically up to whatever mayhem they could get up to. I feel like we did pretty well at getting rid of them, though, no?
I think we did a pretty decent job of getting rid of ISIS. I think the longer you stay and continue fighting those wars, after you've kind of passed the point of, stopping their capacity to attack our homeland.
Mhm.
You know, once you've eliminated that threat, then I think the longer you stay, you kind of start running a higher risk of just prolonging the conflict by creating new sentiments within these people of, you know, the Americans are the enemy. And the longer you stay, the longer this kind of sense develops of, are we here to defend our homeland, or are we here, you know, to feed the war machine, or whatever the argument would be?
Yeah, I can definitely understand that being a concern, and I think that's a fair concern to have. But I think on the flip side, I think we also have concerns of. Are you familiar with like NATO intervention in Libya?
A little bit, but not as well.
I think that was essentially our. I think that was essentially the idea with Libya is that, well, we don't want to stay too long, so in like half a year in like 2011, we go in, we destroy the fuck out of Gaddafi and his forces. He's literally murdered on TV, and then we leave. And because there was no stable presence afterwards by the US or NATO, like the country kind of like fell into disarray and in some ways became less stable even than it was before. I think people point to stuff like that and they're like, okay, well, it's not just enough to go in, bomb some people and leave. You have some obligation afterwards to ensure some level, some minimum level of security.
Yeah. And so I think that, you know, taking those two perspectives is kind of why I personally, I generally lean towards we should not be intervening. We should not be getting ourselves involved with these wars and these conflicts because, you know, as you brought up, there's two different ways it could go very poorly. Where, you know, in the case of Libya, we could go in, achieve the mission, and leave quickly, and then, you know, we've left a mess, and we might have to deal with that mess later through the form of, you know, threats from terrorists. Or you have the case of Afghanistan, where we stayed and did try to kind of build up a functioning society that wouldn't just be left in shambles, and that also failed. And so I think, you know, I lean more towards it's not for the, you know, for in the majority of cases, it's not in our interests to be involved in these things. When there's a terrorist threat that arises that has the capacity to attack us, as we were attacked on 9/11, that's a direct concern we have to deal with. But other than that, I think it's almost impossible, it seems, from historical examples to intervene in a case like this and do it successfully. You know, you have a couple examples, I think.
Well, like I'm
You
kind of
could
curious
say-
just pushing on the Iraq example. Like, let's say we don't do anything in Iraq, we don't go back in, and ISIS actually takes over the country and then installs a government. Aren't we in like a really, really bad position at that point? Because now if we go to war with them, it's not even like we're just getting rid of a terrorist group. Now we'd have to actually go to war against like I'm guessing you're probably opposed to that war too, right?
Yeah, I think